After several decades of existence, Nigeria's aviation sector has always ranked amongst the worst in the world. However, all that may be about to change with a string of recent developments, creating optimism that the best is yet to come. Contrary to the initial resistance, the recent airport concessions are being accepted as the only way forward in Nigeria's bid to modernize its aviation sector. In this special report, our correspondent, Jure Ingilale, looks at public-private partnership as a way forward for Nigerian infrastructure.
Behind me is the new international airport in the nation's capital. New buildings are nothing new to Nigerians. They watch them come up and they watch them dilapidate. What would be new, however, is capable management and quality maintenance. And this is what makes the recent concessioning of the nation's 4 major airports very important. Is it going to go the way of the past, or is it going to be the link which bridges Africa's most populous nation with the world-class aviation infrastructure it desperately requires?
Excellence or mediocrity? Airports represent national identity. Around the globe, the gateway to a nation says much about it. In 1978, Chinese President Deng Xiaoping assumed office and confronted a country in economic turmoil.
We cannot tie our hands.
Poor transportation networks, low construction capacity, low steel production, and inadequate power supply. At 74 years of age, he went to work, not just building infrastructure and industries, but creating construction and maintenance capacity locally. Today, China expands its influence globally by exporting its construction materials and expertise to developing nations. President Xiaoping's administration remains the turning point in Chinese history. Nigeria's aviation sector has fallen victim to corruption like many sectors. But with the political will to concession 4 major aviation hubs now in order, there is cautious optimism.
The telecoms, I think it worked perfectly. And if you look at when the concession was done in the area of electricity, it failed because the management at the time was different. The leadership at the time was different. This is serious leadership.
The national airport is just the beginning.
In recent weeks, the aviation sector has been abuzz with global commendations of reforms undertaken recently.
In line with that of Mr. President is to ensure that our institutions are working very well. They are strong, they're efficient, they're dynamic, they're focused, and they're sensitive to the reasons why they have been established.
But it might be too early to celebrate. Can Nigeria begin creating local capacity to build world-class infrastructure? Will new concessionaires be competent? And will successive governments sustain new reforms? Answers to these questions will define Nigeria's economic viability moving forward. Jure Ingilale, Channels Television News.
Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano has offered himself for the second time to the people of the state, and he is pledging to sustain the steady march towards the consolidation of economic prosperity of Anambra State. The governor was speaking during the flag-off of his re-election campaign at the Alex Ekweme Square in Awka, where more than 500,000 members and supporters of the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA gathered for the event.
The All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA for 11 successive years has held sway in Anambra State, and with the governorship election slated for November the 18th, the party once again draws its members and supporters from within and outside the state in a grand official flag-off of campaign for the re-election of the incumbent governor, Willie Obiano. The crowd is massive, and the solidarity from all quarters is unprecedented as the arrival of Governor Obiano kickstarts the event. The campaign is tagged Operation Show Your Muscle, and the chairman of the re-election campaign committee, Victor Ume, tells the crowd about the idea behind the theme.
Anambra State. Anambra State has become a success story because of Abga.
With an emotion-laden voice, the wife of the late leader of the party, Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, beckons on the governor to lead the Abga squad to victory, as the spirit of the late leader has approved of the journey. For the national chairman and national secretary of Abga, Victor Oye and Labaran Maku, Governor Obiano has performed excellently, and so they want the people to support and re-elect him for a second term.
Governor Obiano has performed excellently, and I'm scoring him Excellentissimum S. This is the only governor that is up to date in Nigeria.
And then it was time for goodwill messages and endorsements from party stalwarts, including the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Charles Soludo.
And the reason why I am not contesting for the governorship of Anambra State is because if it is not broken, why mend it?
Governor Obiano, then reeling out all his achievements, announced to the people that he represents so many things to them.
I am the bridge between your dreams and your fulfillment. Trust me with your vote. Vote for Apuga. Vote for the ticket. We know they are not Nkemo Keke. Ebe Solo Kuku, wherever you know. Ebe Kage Binyaka.
The climax of the event is the official confirmation of Governor Willie Obiano as the party's flag bearer for the November elections, and the presentation of the party's flag to him and his running mate, Dr. Nkem Okeke.
The senior pastor of the Household of God Church, Reverend Chris Courtier, says Nigeria is still in God's plan for renaissance despite the voices of agitation and action that threatens to fragment the country. Reverend Courtier, during the special service held in honor of Nigeria's independence, encourages citizens to find the strength to love one another regardless of ethnic, political, and religious differences.
The message and celebration of hope for Nigeria continues in a special way on a special occasion of the country's 57th independence as a nation. It's one opportunity the Household of God Church will not miss for anything as they hold a special service in the honor of Nigeria's Day. Songs of worship, thanksgiving, and of course loads of dancing just to celebrate Nigeria against all odds. It's time to hear the Prince of Nigeria, as he's popularly called. His text from Genesis 12 reels out God's position on Nigeria.
Unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. I believe that God is ready to show us the new Nigeria. I believe that we are at the edge of the cusp of a renaissance, of a new Nigeria that is about to be born. We are ready for parturition. We are ready to see the manifestation, the concretization of the dreams that we have had all of these years. The change has already begun from gestation. We are ready for parturition. Right now, Nigeria is going to be reborn.
The service also witnessed prayers for people born in the month of October 1960, babies brought to church for dedication and cutting of cake. A quick reminder of what Nigeria must do to experience God's hand.
We can translate the paraphernalia of our diversity into the apparatus of national unity. We must recognize that we have an aboriginal connectivity that cannot be vitiated by ethnicity, religion, or any political affiliation. We must remember the whole confederacy of the Nigerian brotherhood, where we provoke one another to love and to good works. God bless Nigeria.
Hope alive, Nigeria definitely will rise beyond the now for God's ordained place. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Time for the business news of the day. Here's Emana Amawe.
Hello and welcome to Business News. The central bank is partnering with the Nigeria Electronic Fraud Forum to move against the risk posed by SIM card swaps to electronic payments. At a quarterly meeting with some bankers, the CBN Director of Banking and Payment, Mr. Pt.3, announced a partnership with mobile network operators to secure the payment system.
One of our meetings, the forum had placed a courtesy call on the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission in order to open areas of collaboration in reducing vulnerabilities in the mobile space and securing their participation at the forum. A fruit of that meeting was the constitution of an interagency committee, which arrived at conclusions that will define the implementation of a guiding framework for the prevention of SIM swap fraud that have become prevalent, especially with the use of USSD for financial transactions.
In the meantime, the central bank is expected to offer 130.37 billion naira worth of treasury bills at an auction on October the 4th. The regulator will offer 28.69 billion naira of the 91-day paper, 33.49 billion naira for 182-day, and 68.18 billion naira for the 364-day bills. Meanwhile, the federal government will float a Eurobond to raise $2.5 billion before the end of 2017 and complements the $1.5 billion raised from the international market in March to fund the 2017 budget. The Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, says the country's treasury bills portfolio stand at 3.7 trillion naira. And Egypt's benchmark EGX 3.0 starts the final quarter of 2017 with a new record high, surpassing the 14,000 level. And it's a similar picture for Wall Street on Monday. Here's a snapshot of the global markets. And that's Business News Tonight. I'm Emana Amawe.